So you're talking to me.
No, I'm
And
not.
you're like, start. I'm like,
go. Anyways.
I will, however, put on this things. There we go, Chester. There we go.
Chester's with us. Anyways, hi everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Paranormal. We are your hosts. I am Rachel. I'm all alone tonight, and we have
Kaz, and Chester's back. You had a nice time off last week. He had the day off. Not really sure what he got up to. I don't know if he'll ever tell us what he got up to, but when Chester wants some time off, he gets it. Oh,
he got up to
Gladys. You were with Gladys.
Damn it, Chester. He was on a date.
Gladys, I need your last name, darling, because you come through all the time. But we don't know what your last name is. This one says accident. So maybe Gladys had died in this area. Oh my gosh, Gladys.
Well, we haven't even started anything. I was gonna say, listen, like he was on a date with.
I was known. Well, what's your last name, darling? Tell us your last name. I'll find you. Trust me, Rachel will find you.
He was on a date with Gladys, which would have been like perfect because this is our Valentine's Day episode. But apparently, Gladys is just like, no, I'm just taking over this.
Exactly. I need to be now. Well, Gladys, you're welcome. Anyone else is welcome. We open the floor up to you as long as you're nice. But we do need first and last names. That's kind of the criteria. So Gladys, last name, please, and away you go. Oh, I suppose I'm starting today. But yes.
I was going to say, we don't have any new news. Well, wait, no. We kind of have some news, I guess. When this comes out, myself and then Ryan and Liz will have recorded another podcast with the People of Durham podcast.
Lovely.
And we may be doing some filming at the end of this month, potentially.
Yes, that's true. That's
Gladys
exciting.
curses. She's got a potty mouth.
She does curse. I kind of like her then. I approve, Chester, of your relationship with Gladys and her potty mouth.
Maybe that's his wife. I did do that freaking AI photo.
Oh, with the babies.
Yeah, when I asked them to create their families, it made Harold a single dad.
That's hilarious. I love that.
And it gave Chester a wife, and from the looks of it, twins.
Yes. Suspend. I don't know. But yet, a demon here. Is she a demon? Do you need help getting rid of Gladys?
Demon here.
Yeah. Well, okay. But there's no demons in the world of love.
No.
Which is what we are talking about today.
Unless you're Zach Baggins. And then there's a demon everywhere.
Poor Zach Bagans. And I mean that
he's a whole other topic.
Yeah, maybe we'll just do a topic on him. The life and times of Zach Bagans. Because there was a time where
What's that say?
Dominic.
Oh.
Or demonic, but Dominic.
Hey.
Anyways, yeah, there was a time where Zach Bagans had a good run. And I mean, he's still doing his thing. It's just a shame, like you said, it's just
about that next week. Is it next week? We're digging back into TV. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we'll discuss that next week.
Yeah. But for today's
all about the Valentine.
It's about love.
Yeah. Mostly just upset women. Because
basically, women in white dresses, mourning men that never showed up.
And literally, that is the entire premise behind any ghostly love story.
Pretty much. I think 3 of mine are that. The first one of mine is not.
Legitimately, like, all of mine are. Literally.
You're encroaching on my space there, Chester.
He's like, listen, lady.
I know. You put your arm here and then you won't fall on me. There we go. Yeah, my first one actually is not at all like that. So I shall begin.
Yes, begin.
Valentine's Day is supposed to be about love, romance, devotion, and the promise that some bonds will never fade. But tonight's story asks a deeper question. What if love doesn't end even after death? Tonight, we're stepping into the candlelit corridors of Hampton Court Palace, one of England's most haunted royal residences.
Listen,
And in
before you keep going, I swear this needs to be hear us whisper. This needs to be like, are you afraid of the dark episode?
I know.
Literally how you started.
We need an intro. Dark entity. A demon here, dark entity will buckle in.
Gladys.
Yeah. The Grey Lady. Oh, I didn't even finish my thing there. Tonight, we're stepping into the candlelit corridors of Hampton Court Palace, one of England's most haunted royal residences, and into the quiet, lingering presence of a woman known only as the Grey Lady. The Grey Lady is believed to be the spirit of Sybil Penn, a real woman, not a myth. Sybil Penn was born sometime in the early 1500s. Most historians place her birth around 1508, though no exact record survives. She lived not a life of luxury or fame, but one of service. The kind of service was it? I wonder if we're talking about the Grey Lady because her life was kind of amazing in a service way, the kind of service that demanded loyalty, sacrifice, and love without recognition. She served 4 Teuton monarchs, including Henry VIII, and held one of the most intimate positions in the royal household. She was the wet nurse and caretaker for Prince Edward, the future King Edward VI, and later cared for Princess Elizabeth, who would become Queen Elizabeth I. When Elizabeth fell gravely ill with smallpox as a child, Sybil stayed by her side, nursing her and protecting her and refusing to leave. That devotion would ultimately cost Sybil her life. In 1562, Sybil Penn contracted smallpox herself. There was no cure. She died at approximately 54 years old. Her death was not dramatic or scandalous, just quietly tragic. A woman who spent her life caring for others, dying because she refused to abandon the child she loved. Sybil was buried nearby at St. Mary's Church in Hampton, not far from the palace that had been her entire world. But her story didn't end there. For decades, Sybil Penn was inseparable from Hampton Court. Its halls were her workplace, her routine, and her purpose. Then in 1829, something happened. St. Mary's Church was rebuilt, and during construction, Sybil Penn's tomb was disturbed. Almost immediately after this disruption, reports began to surface at Hampton Court Palace. People claimed they felt a presence, cold air, footsteps. Be very, very careful. Why? Because of the Grey Lady? Cold air,
Gladys.
footsteps when there was no one there, and then they began seeing her. Witnesses described the Grey Lady as a tall, solemn woman in a gray, dressed in gray, silently moving through the palace corridors. She's most often seen near the clock court, the state apartments, and the long passageways known as the haunted gallery. But seeing her isn't the only experience. People report sudden drops in temperature, a heavy emotional feeling, like being watched with concern rather than malice, soft footsteps following behind them, and the most chilling detail of all, a spinning sound. After Sybil's tomb was disturbed, people heard the unmistakable noise. You are limitless.
Just keep going.
After Sybil's tomb was disturbed, people heard the unmistakable noise of a spinning wheel coming from behind a sealed wall. When the wall was eventually opened, an old spinning wheel was discovered inside, abandoned yet seemingly responsible for the sound. Some believe Sybil's spirit continues at work as if she never stopped caring. Unlike many ghosts tied to rage or betrayal, the Grey Lady's presence feels gentle. Sybil Penn isn't set to scream. She doesn't chase. She doesn't terrify. Instead, she lingers. Many believe she haunts Hampton Court because it is the only home she ever knew. Oh. And because her love for the children she protected never released her from that bond. She wasn't a queen, she wasn't a wife, but she gave her life in an act of unconditional love. Dead people. On Valentine's Day, we celebrate romance, but Sybil Penn's story reminds us that love wears many forms. Love is devotion without reward. Love is staying when leaving would be safer. Love is having everything and asking for nothing in return. Perhaps the Grey Lady of Hampton Court isn't trapped by grief, but by love so strong it refuses to fade. So if you ever walk the halls of Hampton Court Palace and feel a sudden chill, or hear the faint hum of a spinning wheel, remember, some loves don't haunt us because they're broken. They haunt us because they were real. Oh, it's beautiful. Her chest is raised. Chest is like, what the fuck?
What did I just fucking
Yeah.
say to?
Are you not impressed, Chester, by that? Now, incidentally, Hampton Court Palace is the same place. If you've ever seen the infamous CCTV footage of the cloaked skeleton figure coming out of the door, that's the same place. There are many,
Yeah.
many spirits at that place.
I didn't even realize that. I've seen that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I have to. And I'm still on the fence as to whether or not it's bullshit, but it's been around a long time.
Mhm.
So,
has-
and like back in the day, you have to remember, people, back in the late 1900s, there were miracles. Back in the late 1900s, we didn't have the ability to fake things like we do now with AI. Like, it was really easy to see if you faked shit. Like,
Yeah.
really easy.
And trust me, they fake
So,
stuff. Like we
oh,
should do a whole episode about like Victorian seances,
infamous. Yeah. Oh my
you know,
God. Ectoplasm.
and the psychic and like the psychic horn and stuff like that. Like, yeah, we should totally, like
Yeah.
do how they used to do that. Oh my god, I'm gonna put it down on my thing.
Yes, do it. Write it down. But yeah, but if you, yeah, go look it up. It's
Oh
like
my
a
god, we should
Skeletor
do
figure.
one. We should do a Victorian seance and then talk about it.
Oh, we should. I love it. All right, we'll get on it, and we should do it at our favorite place to do a séance.
Where's that? Was it going to be the same place I was about to say? Starts with a W.
Yes, it's gonna. We both like it, and it's a historic structure with the room, and we can molest each other in the room.
No.
Maybe not. I mean, it is Valentine's Day, but let's just take it easy.
Yeah, just
Chill
you gotta,
out.
it's called wining and dining first. We don't just
Yeah. But yes, we should totally do that in Wildwood because
Yeah.
there's the seance room there.
Yeah,
Okay.
they have a whole table with the crystal ball. Come on.
Trip planned.
Yeah. We're gonna do it, people. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And we may have somebody there that we might actually scare so badly that he'll sleep in a vehicle.
We won't even have to do that.
No, we don't
Him
know.
being there for a few minutes, he'll be like, I gotta go home. The dogs are sick.
Yeah, they'll be like, and I need to leave now. All right. Right? My turn? Yeah. All right.
Yes.
So when I was looking at Valentine's Day, ghost stories, the first thing that pops up on all the searches was the story of La Llorona.
La la rumba. That
So,
same one.
Well, see, we call it La Llorona, but it says here it's pronounced La Llorona.
Right.
Because, we just skip all the else. Anyways, it means the weeping woman in Spanish. So she is one of the most famous and enduring legends in Mexican and Latin American folklore, and is known as a ghostly spirit who wanders at night crying for her drowned children.
Oh.
So this is all about loving your children.
Is one of them named Leonard?
Damn it, Leonard. Her story blends tragedy, horror, morality, and cultural history, making her one of the most emotionally powerful. What?
Dial.
She's one of the most emotionally powerful ghost legends in the world. So there are many versions of this La Llorona.
Good job.
Because I'm gonna fuck it up every time. Anyways, so La Llorona was once a beautiful young woman named Maria. Sometimes in some stories she's unnamed, but she lived in a small village near a river or a lake. She fell deeply in love with a wealthy man. Surprise, surprise. Often described as a Spanish nobleman or a conquistador. Anyways, they had 2 or more children.
Okay? She's like, are you okay?
No, no, I'm not. I don't speak Spanish. I could say por favor, and that was pretty much it. That's
And you can't even say that.
No, that anything that Dora taught me really briefly, and when I watched her with my kid. But anyways, they had 2 or more children together, but the man eventually abandoned her, or he married a woman of higher social class.
I had one eye.
Okay.
Heartbroken, enraged, and overwhelmed by despair, Maria lost her grip. What?
Just keep going.
Lost
This is
her
on
grip
time.
on sanity. In a moment of emotional devastation, she apparently drowned her own children in the river, either as revenge against the man or in a delusional belief that it would prevent their suffering. However, as soon as she realized what she had done, she was consumed with horror and regret. So she either threw herself into the river, died of grief, or was executed. And that depends on the version of the story that you're told.
That's
However,
awful.
soul became cursed to wander the earth, eternally searching for her lost children. So her ghost is said to roam riverbanks, lake shores.
And is not friendly.
No, she's not. Where'd I go? There I am.
Yeah.
Her ghost is said to roam riverbanks, lake shores, canals, and village streets at night, crying, "Oh, my children," in Spanish. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. It's like mi tío. I don't know. See, if you
Mi
could,
niños?
no, I
Mi
don't.
niños.
No, not Ninos. It's
What's it? How does it?
Hijos. It's like Hio.
Oh, yeah. You're at the end.
Yeah. I could have just put on Google Translate, but I failed. Anyways, her sobbing wails are described as bone-chilling, echoing across water, soft and distant, then suddenly terrifyingly close. So, according to the legend, if her cries sound far away, she's actually very close. And if they sound close, she's very far away. Now,
what
she has been described as a tall, thin woman wearing a long white gown. Surprise. With long black hair obscuring her face. So think of the ring. Floating slightly above the ground. So her face sometimes appears skeletal, hollowed eyes, or impossibly beautiful and tragic.
Very contrast.
I know. Some versions of the legend say that she has no feet. Her eyes glow and her face transforms into a skull when you approach her. So it is said she wanders near the river, streams, canals, lakes, and bridges. She appears in fog or mist and is seen late at night, especially between midnight and 3 a.m. So she's got a lot of different roots. She's got some Aztec roots and all that, but people who see her, where do I have that here? They will experience paralyzing fear, disorientation, hallucinations, sudden illness, madness, or even death in extreme versions.
Oh.
In some stories, she mistakes living children for her own, attempts to kidnap them, or lures victims towards water.
Wow.
I know. So her most
Chester's not a fan of kids, apparently, so it appeals to him that they get sent to the grave. Oh, Chester.
He's like, yeah, I hate children. Anyways, so most common hotspots for La Llorona, I'm just gonna stop right there.
Ladrona.
Mexico City canals,
Mhm.
Rio Grande River, Santa Fe, New Mexico, the San Antonio Riverwalk, and the Los Angeles River. So
Hmm.
that's where she can be found. So her legend survives because it embodies grief, love, guilt, loss, horror, and regret, everything that makes up Valentine's Day. So she is not just a ghost, she is a tragedy made supernatural. Well, now I have to prove it?
Prove it. Off you go.
Listen, I could just go downtown Oshawa and find some screaming woman with their hair in her face and it would be on par. She's probably down by the creek, anyways.
I was just gonna say.
Not to be mean or
Yikes.
anything, but you know. Anyways, that's La Llorona in my
Well,
great Canadian accent.
from one woman around the waterways to another one. Now, Valentine's Day is often painted in roses and candlelight, but some love stories are written in silence, in cold water. Dog, you're not playing with the dog. And in grief that never thaws. Tonight, we travel to the heart of the Canadian Rockies, to a place of breathtaking beauty and deep, lingering sorrow. Yeah! This is the story of the Lady of the Lake, the ghost said to wander the frozen waters of Lake Louise. Unlike many named spirits, the Lady of the Lake has no confirmed identity. Her name is lost. Oh, did you believe it? Believe it. Her name is lost to time. Local legend describes her as a young woman often believed to be either a settler's daughter or a young. Who's talking to who? Belief? You will not. Who's talking back and forth here, Gladys? Shh. Um, she's either a settler's daughter or a young bride or lover, separated from the person she loved. Because Lake Louise is located on land sacred to Indigenous people, including the Stoney Nakoda Nation, some versions of the legend blend settler folklore with older oral traditions, stories of spirits bound to water grief and unfinished journeys. Gladys Thompson. We'll look it up. There's Thompson's down the street.
I will look it up.
There are no recorded birth dates for the Lady of the Lake. Her age is often described as late teens to early 20s. Her amenity is part of the tragedy. She is remembered not by who she was, but how she died. The Lady of the Lake is said to have died in the late. All right, Gladys. Well, just please wait. She's said to have died in the late 19th or early 20th century, sometime after the area became accessible to settlers and travelers. The most common version of the legend tells us this: she was waiting for someone she loved. What a surprise! Some say it was a fiance or husband who never returned. Others say it was a lover lost at war, to illness, or the unforgiving wilderness. Overcome with grief, she walked onto the lake while it was frozen, either searching, waiting, or simply unable to carry the weight of her heartbreak any longer. The ice gave way. She drowned in the freezing water below. Her cause of death is believed to be accidental drowning, though some versions suggest despair played a role. Lake Louise is known for its unreal beauty. It is a positive. Turquoise
I think
water
he's
in the
talking to
summer.
me.
Oh.
Keep going.
Lake Louise is known for its unreal
Always.
beauty. Turquoise water in summer, glassy ice in winter, but it is also dangerous, especially when underestimated. I have been there. It's stunning and also insanely crowded by tourists. The Lady of the Lake is forever tied to this place. It was where she last waited for love, where hope turned into loss, and where her life ended in isolation and cold. In death, she never left. Those who claim encounters describe the Lady of the Lake as quiet and mournful and never threatening. She is said to appear walking slowly across the ice, standing near the shoreline at dusk or dawn, and or reflected faintly in the water where no one else is standing. Reports say seeing a female figure dressed in white or pale blue, long dark hair, sometimes obscuring her face. What a surprise! A deep feeling of sadness that settles suddenly and without explanation. Some hikers and visitors describe hearing soft footsteps on the ice, a woman crying or calling out, or a whisper carried on the wind, impossible to trace. When approached, she vanishes, dissolving into mist, shadow, or reflection. The Lady of the Lake does not linger out of anger, she lingers because she is waiting. Many believe her spirit is bound to the Lake Louise because she never received closure, never learned what happened to the one she loved, or never escaped the moment when hope finally broke because he went to jail. Water in many spiritual traditions holds memories, and Lake Louise, still beautiful and soft, remembers her grief. Valentine's Day tells us that love is joyful, but the Lady of the Lake reminds us that love can also be waiting too long, loving too deep, or losing someone without goodbye
And their marbles.
and losing your marbles. Her
You're about to lose your
haunting,
marbles.
oh my God, her haunting isn't meant to frighten. It's a warning whispered through ice and water. Love should warm us, but when love is met with silence, it can freeze forever. So if you ever stand at Lake Louise watching the ice shimmer beneath the mountains and feel a sudden ache in your chest, you may not be alone. Some hearts never stop waiting. You're getting better. He's like, why am I on this episode? Other than to laugh at children being murdered.
And you about ready to lose your marbles.
Oh, here we
Because
go.
listen, you're talking away and I'm looking stuff up on my phone. And of course, because I'm not talking, you can't see my face. And I'm sitting here like,
Uh-huh.
right?
Oh.
Because at the we're our lovely Mildred is buried at Cartwright Cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
Happens to be buried a Gladys Thompson.
Yes,
And she was born August 4th, 1910.
Mm-hmm.
And she died February 8th, 1978, which is the date that this episode is released.
Yes, we found you.
And
All
her
right,
maiden
Gladys.
her maiden name is Cobbledick, so she's got quite the name for your neighborhood. So like visitors. He doesn't like visitors. No, he doesn't like Gladys. And she's like, no, go home, Gladys.
Oh my God, Cobbledick! I can't even.
Yeah.
Oh, Thomas Thompson is better. Okay. Well,
And
hi, Gladys.
not only that, she had a daughter. They had a daughter named Gladys Thompson as well.
Oh,
And
I
she
thought you
was
can
born
say.
October 4th, 1937, Ethan's
Uh-huh.
birthday, and died October 30th, 2020.
Oh, Bernice. Is there a Bernice or a Sydney? Wow. Okay. Again, we just need to do an episode where we're just finding dead people that come through to us because.
Sure. We really need to.
Yeah. Now we have Bernice and Sydney up. Which
Last names
terminated.
help.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Gladys. We asked for your last name. Well, that was amazing. Thanks, Gladys. How did you die?
Well, her obituary doesn't say, but it gives you a charity to donate to. So I'm assuming it's along those lines, which is a cancer charity. So,
all right.
I wouldn't be able to see the records anyways because she died in 1978.
She's over there. Where? Hi, Gladys. You want to show up on the camera? You can do that. You can do that.
As we wait.
I know. It's us. Mildred and Gladys.
Oh no.
The dynamic duo. Hi,
I mean,
guys.
listen, we want to get on this podcast business too.
Yeah. We're just going to have, in the end, just multiple ghosts everywhere.
No, it's just literally going to be Mildred and Gladys, but that's okay.
Who knows? Now we've solved Gladys's issue. Maybe we'll have other people. I have to move, Chester. Relax. There we go.
All right. So
I'm old. Sitting on my knees hurts. Okay. Yes. Take it away.
So we're gonna stay out in the west part of Canada, but we're gonna go right to the west coast because we are gonna go to Tranquil Sanatorium in Kamloops, British Columbia.
Ew.
Why? Well, we're gonna talk about the Weeping Woman of Tranquil, also known as the Phantom Lady.
Oh.
And her theme is love, loss, betrayal, and tragic death, like they all are.
We wish.
What the fuck? The Phantom Lady. That's awful. It's either we wish they were all like that, or does Gladys and
hydrophobic? That would have been the last one that drowned.
Yeah.
A little afraid of the water. Oh, death is coming. Great. Could we maybe get through another story before we have any more interruptions?
So the Phantom Lady of Tranquil Sanatorium is one of British Columbia's most well-known or well-documented and emotionally powerful ghost legends. So her story is deeply intertwined with romantic heartbreak, not patience, betrayal, and a fatal Valentine's Day tragedy. Yes, Valentine's Day, making her one of the most haunting, loved-based paranormal tales in Canada. So unlike many hospital spirits, her story is not one of illness, but of love, obsession, jealousy, and devastating loss. So, little background, Tranquil Sanatorium opened in 1907 as a tuberculosis hospital. It's funny because we were just talking about Wildwood. It later became a psychiatric facility and geriatric hospital. So thousands of patients passed through its halls before it closed permanently in 1984. So the site is now infamous for apparitions, shadow figures, full body manifestation, EVPs, intelligent spirits communication, and emotional hauntings.
Yes, haunted tales.
But none is more famous than the Phantom Lady. So who was she? Well, records suggest that she was a young female patient or staff member in the early 1900s, and her identity is debated, but the story remains consistent. She fell deeply in love with a male patient or staff member, possibly a doctor, orderly, or another patient. Their relationship was secretive and forbidden due to strict hospital rules. Their bond became intense, emotional, and deeply romantic.
Ooh.
So on February 14th, Valentine's Day, she believed he was going to run away with her. This is where the problem starts.
Because they had a connection.
She waited for him, dressed in her best clothes, expecting a life beyond the institution. But guess what? He never came. So some versions say he abandoned her. He was transferred. He died. He chose another woman, or he was forbidden to see her. Regardless of the reason, she waited in vain. So devastated by heartbreak and emotional collapse, she climbed to an upper floor or balcony or accessed a stairwell tower. And what do you know? What'd she do? She jumped.
Sorry, I'm not laughing that she jumped. It's just that it's carry on.
You just know where this is going from the start.
Exactly.
So her body was discovered shortly after Valentine's Day, cementing the tragic timing forever into the site's lore. So almost immediately, it was a disaster.
It was a disaster.
Yeah. Almost immediately, staff began reporting strange occurrences, especially in the upper floors, hallways, patient wings, and stairwells. And at that time, she became known as the Phantom Lady. So what do people see? Well, they see a woman in a flowing white or pale hospital gown. Surprise, surprise. She's got long, dark hair. She's got a pale complexion. And they always have long, dark hair. When is there ever a blonde ghost?
Exactly, with like short pixie
We should have
cut.
talked about that last week. She had a pale complexion. Of course, she's dead. Gliding motion. Yeah, she's dead. She floats. Standing at windows and leaning over balcony rails. And she often vanishes suddenly or fades into a mist. She is also heard crying softly, sobbing.
Walk forward.
I'm sitting. Whispered speech and footsteps. The people also hear rustling fabric and faint humming. So many investigators who have investigated this place have captured EVPs of female voices responding to questions about love and betrayal. She will also cause sudden cold spots, EMF spikes, equipment malfunctions, battery drains, and temperature drops. So some investigators and people who have witnessed her have also experienced sudden sadness, tight chest sensations, overwhelming grief, intense longing, emotional heaviness, and feeling watched. And some investigators have even reported crying uncontrollably without explanation. Yeah. So this haunting dramatically intensifies around mid-February. So we're coming up to it. So investigators and witnesses have reported an increased activity from February 10th to 17th. More visual sightings, more EVPs, and more emotional disturbances. So reports reported Valentine's Day phenomenon has been apparitions seen near windows, strong crying sounds, shadow figures, disembodied voices, and apparent intelligent responses, again, to questions about love. Her spirit becomes more active on Valentine's Day as she is reliving her heartbreak. Jones.
Beatrice Jones.
I will take a look for that name in a few minutes. She appears to be seeking companionship, responding emotionally to romantic discussions, becomes agitated when betrayal is mentioned, and calm when spoken to gently and compassionately. So she is sorrowful, not hostile. So why does she still haunt Tranquil Sanatorium? Well, her emotional trauma imprinted itself into the building. Her soul remains trapped in the moment of heartbreak, or her death was sudden, traumatic, and unresolved. Or all of the above.
Right.
So this created a residual and intelligent haunting hybrid. This means that she is replaying her emotional pain, but can interact with the living. So yeah. So the Phantom Lady of Tranquil Sanatorium is a tragic spirit of a young woman who died of heartbreak after being abandoned on Valentine's Day. Her ghost still wanders the halls, waiting for a lover who never came. Her sorrow echoing through the abandoned hospital more than a century later. Dun, dun, dun. What was that?
My goodness.
Beatrice Jones?
Beatrice Jones.
Gonna have to look that up.
Well, from one phantom lady in a sanatorium on the West Coast to another phantom lady right here in Ontario. Let me just get comfy because my knees hurt. Valentine's Day celebrates beginnings, engagements, weddings, promises of forever. But what happens when forever never comes? Tonight's story takes us to Casa Loma, Toronto's grand castle on the hill, a place built as a monument to wealth, power, and possibly a love that never made it to the altar. This is the story of the Phantom Bride of Casa Loma. Unlike royalty or nobility, the Phantom Bride has no confirmed name. She is believed to have been a young lady in the early 1900s, likely in her early to mid-20s. Some legends describe her as a maid or servant employed at Casa Loma. Others claim she was connected socially to the estate. And some say she was preparing to be married on the very grounds of the castle. Because Casa Loma was completed in 1914, her life is placed somewhere between 1910 and the early 1920s. No official records list her birth date. Have we spoke before? Gladys, we have spoke before because you've come through numerous times. And I'm really glad we finally found out who you are. No official records list her birth date. and the absence is part of the tragedy. Neck torture? Does she hang herself? I don't think she does. Let me get there. Hold on. History remembers the castle, but not the woman who haunts it. The most enduring version of the legend tells us this. The Phantom Bride was abandoned on her wedding day. Some say her fiance never arrived. Others say he left her shortly before the ceremony. Either way, her future disappeared suddenly and without explanation. Overcome by heartbreak, still wearing her wedding gown, mhm, she climbed one of Castle Loma's towers, and then she fell to her death. Whether the fall was accidental or intentional remains unclear, but her cause of death is believed to be fatal injuries from the fall. She, she died alone. Okay. Still dressed for love that never happened. Castle Loma was meant to be a symbol of grandeur, but it was also a place of unrealized dreams. The castle itself fell into financial trouble soon after it was built, and many of its rooms were never used as intended. The Phantom Bride is bound to Castle Loma because it was meant to be the site of her happiest day. Instead, it became the place of her deepest heartbreak. Her final steps were taken within the stone walls. In death, she remains exactly where her life stopped. Staff and visitors have reported sightings for decades. She is most often seen on the upper floors near the tower or on the grand staircase. Witnesses describe a woman in a long white gown, a veil trailing behind her face either hidden or heartbreakingly blank. Some report hearing soft footsteps on the stone, a quiet sobbing, or the sound of fabric brushing against walls when no one is there. She never speaks, never approaches, she simply walks and disappears. The Phantom Bride doesn't haunt Casa Loma out of vengeance. She haunts it because she never crossed the threshold from, oh God, Heretic's Fork. That's not very romantic.
We went
Or
from neck
maybe,
torture to this.
maybe it is. I don't know what kind of 50 Shades of Gray you're looking at. She haunts it because she never crossed the threshold from promise to forever. Psychics and paranormal investigators believe her spirit is trapped in the moment her future collapsed, unable to accept that the life she imagined was taken from her. Her dress, her silence, her endless wanderings, all signs of a love story interrupted. On Valentine's Day, we celebrate commitment, but the Phantom Bride reminds us the vulnerability behind every promise. Love requires courage, and heartbreak, when it comes without answers, can echo longer than vows. Maybe she isn't searching for the man who left her. Maybe she's searching for the version of herself that still believes in forever. So if you walk the halls of Casa Loma and glimpse white fabric at the edge of your vision, or feel a sudden sadness where joy should live, remember, not every bride gets her ending, and some loves never leave the aisle.
We should compile a book of this after
I know.
we haven't found
I
no
know.
Beatrice Jones. There's lots of Beatrice, but no Jones.
What about Sydney Jones
That's
or
a
a
good.
locksmith? Hmm.
Hmm. I even looked in Bowmanville. No
Oh
affection.
well.
Oh, it is
Affection.
Valentine's Day. I'm sticking in Ontario now too.
Ooh.
Well, this one's pretty well known. For those of you who don't know, it is called Lover's Leap, and it is located in Hamilton. Well, technically, it's the Niagara Escarpment in the Red Valley Hill, and the legend has to do with a man named Jane, or with a woman named Jane Riley and a man named
This
Joseph Rousseau. But it's because they both have JR names. It is one of Hamilton's.
two
Wow.
things happen at once there. It's a gratitude and somewhere in the mist. Well,
Well, yeah,
somewhere in the mist is exactly right.
yeah. because this is one of Hamilton's most emotionally haunted sites. Well, a little overview. Well, Lover's Leap refers to a steep.
Doorway is open.
A doorway is open.
Okay.
No shit, because everyone's coming through saying stuff. Calm down, people.
So Lover's Leap refers to a steep cliff and waterfall drop at Albion Falls, one of Hamilton's most famous waterfalls. Been there, it's really pretty. Also fell on my ass there, even better. The name originates from the tragic 19th century love story involving heartbreak, family opposition, and suicide. The location became known as Lover's Leap after the death of Jane Riley.
Death is horrible.
Yeah,
It probably was, Jane.
Who allegedly leapt from the cliffs. Oh my God, the cliffs. In despair after being forbidden to marry the man she loved. This heartbreaking event cemented the site's reputation as a place of tragic romance, emotional haunting, and ghostly legends. So Albion Falls is a 19 meters, so that's 62 feet, cascade waterfall flowing down the Niagara Escarpment into Hamilton's East End. The surrounding ravine, dense forest, and steep cliff create a dramatic and isolated atmosphere perfect for folklore and legends and ghost stories. So the area was once supported Albion Mills, an early industrial settlement that dated back to the late 1700s, making it both historically and emotionally layered location. So who was Jane Riley? Well, according to the long-standing Hamilton legend, Jane Riley was a young woman living near Albion Falls in the early 1800s. Patience. She had fallen deeply in love with a man named Joseph Rousseau, and the two were childhood companions turned romantic partners. Aww. However, Joseph's mother strongly disapproved of the relationship, believing Jane to be socially and financially beneath her son.
Ooh, bitch.
And this is where you get the monster in-laws. So
there's evil everywhere.
So under family pressure, Joseph ultimately ended the relationship, devastating Jane. So heartbroken and emotionally overwhelmed, Jane climbed to a rocky outcrop high above Albion Falls on a moonlit night and threw herself from the 100-foot drop into the ravine below. She reportedly died from the fall, though some versions say she survived briefly. Oh my God, I can't speak tonight. Before succumbing to her injuries. Her tragic death forever cemented the area to be known as Lover's Leap. Anyway, so legend says that Joseph's mother later expressed overwhelming guilt, reportedly stating, "Let the blame rest on my shoulders." Years later, according to the folklore, she suddenly cried out, "Jane's hand is on my..."
That scares me.
Okay, well, suddenly, years later, she suddenly cried out, "Jane's hand is on my shoulder," and collapsed dead moments later.
Whoa.
Yeah. So the name Lover's Leap originates from the tragic act of suicide motivated by romantic despair, which is like literally all of these stories, following a long-standing global folklore tradition where dramatic cliffs become associated with forbidden love, betrayal, and fatal devotion. So Albion Falls became Hamilton's version of these tragic romantic landmarks, but there are other ones out there. So you have Lover's Leap in Jamaica, one in Ireland, and one in Pennsylvania.
Holy moly.
It's just a place to go if you're sad and depressed over love. That's literally what it is. All right, so paranormal legends and ghostly activity. Well, there is the crying woman. Visitors frequently report soft sobbing, whispers, echoing cries, and the sensation of being watched. On quiet nights, some claim they can hear a woman crying from the gorge, and it's believed to be Jane's restless spirit. So witnesses have also described a female wearing pale clothing. Pale clothing? That's a new way to describe white.
Does she have black hair?
I don't know. It doesn't say. Standing near the cliff edge, gazing down into the ravine, and then vanishing suddenly. Many investigators believe this represents a residual emotional haunting, replaying Jane's final moments. Other experiences include sudden cold spots. Yeah.
We all were.
Emotional heaviness, disorientation, and unexplained sadness. And these feelings can be strongly felt near the cliff's edge, the upper viewing platform, and the ravine trails. Now, before Jane's tragedy, Albion Falls was also long associated with death and mystery, which included fatal industrial accidents, bodies dumped during organized crime conflicts, military shelter during the War of 1812, and several accidental falls. So this kind of accumulated and made the areas a very heavy and emotional atmosphere. And of course, what comes with that? Ghost stories.
Naturally.
Yeah. So the Lover's Leap story persists because it reflects universal emotional themes such as forbidden love, social division, family pressure, emotional despair, and tragic sacrifices. And again, it remains one of Hamilton's most emotional resonant ghost legends. Now, today you can go visit Albion Falls today. I've done it. It's pretty. So it is a major tourist attraction and a popular hiking destination. Despite its safety barriers, it still continues to draw investigators, folklore researchers, history enthusiasts, and ghost tour groups. So our quick summary of it. Well, Lover's Leap at Albion Falls earned its name from the tragic suicide of Jane Riley, a young woman who leapt to her death after being forbidden to marry her true love. Her heartbreak etched itself into Hamilton's folklore, transforming a natural landmark into one of Ontario's most haunting romantic tragedies.
Now, are there actually barricades up so people can't jump anymore, or is it still you can like get in there and?
It's called a guardrail. That's literally what it is, to stop you from driving off of it.
Right.
When I went, this is years ago, parking was on the other side of the road, so you had to cross a busy road. And then it had rained like the night before, so it was kind of muddy on the way down. And of course, we're all worried that we're going to slip and fall, and none of us did. I slipped and fell on flat surface once we got back up to the car.
Oh, wow.
Fucking mud. I still there's a picture of me somewhere with my leg up in the air and I'm just like covered in mud. I'll see if I can find it.
Oh my gosh.
In my younger days. That was like 20 something years ago.
Wow.
Anyways. No, it's actually, you can just go there. And it's hiking trails, right? But they film a lot down there. So yeah, but we should go. We should do a whole Hamilton thing.
I wonder if, like, are there other people who committed suicide? I mean,
more than likely.
Yeah, there must be.
100%. And listen, it's a body dumping ground for organized crime.
Of course it is.
That's more interesting. Should ask Ryan.
Big picture. Well, from almost close to home to really close to home, I have one last sneaky one that I wanted to get in here because I wanted something close to home, but also a little close to our hearts. So Valentine's Day is about connections, the ties that bind us, the pledges we keep, and the moments that change us forever. But not all love stories end with ring exchanges and happy endings. Some linger in echoes and shadows. Tonight, we travel to Whitby, Ontario, to a historic landmark at 416 Centre Street South, the Whitby Centennial Building, once the Ontario Courthouse. Ontario County Courthouse. Is it contagious that we can't speak?
It's Monday. It's a new month. It's also the end of a full moon, so...
Oh my gosh, the moon was so beautiful last night and this morning.
I seen it
was
this
so
morning.
bright. It was so bright.
Yeah, it was.
This stately brick structure built between 1852 and 1854 and designed by Frederick Cumberland and William Storm, once housed trials, verdicts, and the tumultuous, mystical, correct emotions of 19th century justice. Since 1967, it has served as a community center, theater, and archive space. But behind its beautiful facade, many believe something still remains of the building's long and fraught past. There is no official record of a specific woman tied to the hauntings of the Whitby courthouse. No birth date, no death date, no grave marker preserved in local archives that ties a ghost to the building by name. But what does live on are record or reports, rumors, and eyewitnesses accounts passed down over many centuries. A historic plaque in the building notes the first ghost sighting in the courtroom was reported as early as 1837, less than 20 years after the courthouse opened. But the stories that local paranormal investigators and neighbors tell focus not on one specific woman, but on the echoes of lost connections, particularly those tied to the courthouse's most tense moments: trials, verdicts, waiting, and grief. Because here's the thing about justice in the 19th century: it wasn't just about the law, it was about families, relationships, bonds broken or tested, and future forever altered. According to legend, one of the most reported ghostly figures seen in the building isn't even a woman at all. It's a man in old fashioned dress, pacing in the courtroom balcony before slowly stepping off into the floor below, appearing to fall, then walking across the courtroom and vanishing. Wow. That's all right, buddy. We have yet to get there to investigate. Maybe when we get there, you will not scare us.
I've already been a
Lo-
bunch of times, so
Local investigators even connect this figure to a tragic courtroom moment. A family member presented for a guilty verdict, perhaps for his son or nephew, who in the moment, okay, who in the moment of despair and accusation paced the balcony. When the judgment was read, he rushed forward and fell over the ledge, dying on the spot. While that figure is typically described as a male in stories, what's interesting, especially for a Valentine's Day episode, is how many witnesses describe emotional energy lingering in the part of the courthouse, as if someone was not just grieving a loss, but grieving a broken promise or fractured family bond. Have you been here before? I have not been here before to this particular place I'm talking about, but thank you for asking. People who've attended events or toured the building in recent decades report a range of eerie phenomena: lights flickering on and off with no explanation, doors that slam shut when no one is nearby, witnesses seeing figures or shadows descending from an old courthouse balcony as if replaying a moment long past, strange mechanical sounds or footsteps when the building is otherwise quiet. Jasper. Some local accounts even speak of a tall, wandering figure near the building exterior who transforms into a large black dog with burning eyes. A symbolic and unsettling image that has become part of the courthouse's myths. These stories vary, and there's no documented name attached to the Phantom Bride specifically. I don't know why that is. But what unifies them is the sense of presence tied to the moments of tension, loss, and emotional rapture. So, where does love fit into these stories? The courthouse was once a site of families brought together for trials or torn apart by them. It was where futures were decided, reputations broken, and beliefs and devastations delivered. Imagine a spouse waiting in the gallery as the verdict is read. Imagine someone pacing in agony, praying for a different outcome. Imagine standing where your life, your partner, your marriage, your plans depend on a moment you could never change. Love isn't always roses. Sometimes it's love tested by judgment, love strained by fear, love mourned by silence. And in a building where so many people came seeking justice or closure, perhaps the hauntings we do hear are echoes of hearts that were never fully healed. If the courthouse, if all lonely, if the courthouse has a ghostly energy, it isn't tied to one specific named woman like a traditional lady in white or lady in red, ghostly legends. Instead, it seems to be tied to the emotional imprint of the place itself, a space once filled with tension and pain and irreversible decisions. From flickering lights to unexplainable footsteps, silent figures reappearing, or shadows in the balcony, the building seems to hold on to these unresolved ties as if the spirits within them are still searching for a moment of peace. This Valentine's Day, remember that love stories aren't always tidy. Some aren't about weddings, some aren't about happily ever afters, some aren't about some are about the toll of hope deferred, the weight of expectation, and the heartbreak of what life might have been. At the Whitby Courthouse, holy moly! At the Whitby Courthouse, the walls have witnessed decisions that changed lives. Perhaps they remember those who came with hope and life and left with regret. So, if you ever find yourself at 416 Center Street South on a quiet evening, listening for the breath of past, a judge's gavel, a hush of a courtroom, the footsteps of someone waiting for a verdict that may never come.
I'm
You
gonna
are literally on the edge of your seat.
I'm gonna literally ruin your life right now, Sandra.
There we go.
So
Yes.
there is a woman attached to the Whitby courthouse, and
Yes.
we found out who she was because
Hmm.
in 1909, a man decided that he wanted to run away with some other woman, but his marriage, his wife, and their children were in the way. Well, his daughter was at a neighbor's house, but his two sons and their mother were at home, which he then proceeded to poison and set the house on fire and murdered all three of them. His name was Archibald McLaughlin, and I believe her name was Elizabeth. And he obviously was very awful at trying to hide his tracks. So he was caught. And there are only two noted, registered hangings at the gallows that were at
Hmm.
the courthouse, which was in the back lot where the parking lot is right now. And he was one of them. And when I was looking, and that took place on July 13th, 1910. And it's funny because I've never seen this before. So when you're talking about it, I was trying to look up his name to remember who it was. And I literally found a whole like newspaper article that I've never
Hmm.
seen before. And it's literally
Oh.
titled "Dealt 5 Blows Before Trap Was Released."
Ooh.
And then it says, as was reported, I'll just read the beginning of this. As was reported in Wednesday's Daily Warder, Archie McLaughlin, the Uxbridge clerk, paid the penalty of murder by hanging by the neck.
Neck torture.
Yeah. Until dead. As further accounts of the affairs given as followed. Oh my God, I almost lost my voice there. So Whitby, July 13th, amid the tolling of his death knell, and after 4 unsuccessful efforts to spring the trap, Archibald McLaughlin, the convicted Uxbridge triple murder, was executed this morning by Arthur Ellis in the jail yard at 7 o'clock.
Imagine they couldn't do it.
Yeah, it says
So many times.
trouble. Yeah, trouble was caused by the gallows being erected hurriedly. There was no time to place a lever to be used in springing the trap, and the executioner was forced to use a mallet. So they were literally like doing it the medieval way.
Damn.
As Reverend Dr. Abraham one of the prisoner's religious advisors came to the fatal words of the Lord's Prayer and deliver us from evil. Ellis hit the spring sharply with his wooden mallet. The blow resounded through the yard.
Gross. So why is she linked there then?
Because that is where her husband, I guess, where he died.
Mm.
So she was probably stuck to that emotional crap. And that was a love story gone horribly, horribly wrong. But yeah.
Yeah.
She's buried in Uxbridge because that's where they were living. And he is buried in an unmarked grave at Union Cemetery here in Oshawa.
Do they have the section that has all the unmarked stuff?
They know if you were to go in there and ask, they would know where it is.
Right.
Because they would have records of to where it is. But it wouldn't be that hard to find because you just look for the section that's kind of open, but not. Really buried.
I mean, they would need to know. So they're not like, yeah, we'll sell you this plot. And then they dig and they're like, whoops.
Somebody's already here.
Yeah. This place has got occupied.
But
I'm glad we found you, Gladys. That kind of makes a little love story of its own between Chester and Gladys.
And Mildred. It's like he's got a threesome going on.
I guess. I hope Gladys, is she married? She must be married. She had a daughter.
Yeah. She was a
unless
she married a Thompson.
Wait, unless it was Gladys Jr. Maybe. Who are we talking about here? Are we talking about Gladys Jr.?
I have a picture of Gladys Jr.
Kindness. Oh, show him the picture. See what he does.
All right, hold on. Let me pull back up.
Operationalized. What the heck does that mean? Operationalized.
I am operationalizing Find a Grave.
Find a grave. We're going to bring up a picture here, Chester, and we want to know if this is your girlfriend. Lady friend. I don't know. What do you call her? You brought her up, I think. You brought her up.
So this is the junior one. This is Gladys Jr. So this is Gladys Jean Thompson. She married a Cola Seco. Cola, I don't know how to, I'm awful at pronouncing names right now. So.
Oh, so she was married? Was that her? Okay. Okay, we need to talk. Here, Chester. We need to talk. Was that her, Chester?
If he says, it's going to be.
Yeah. Do you recognize that woman? Do you know who that is? I don't know. Maybe her ghost looks different. And it's Damien. Hey, we've got Damien like 4 times. Not 4 times. It's probably been 3.
I don't have a picture of the other one, obviously. But
is that your like polite way of saying
damn?
Yeah.
Damn.
Listen, this was someone's daughter, sister, mother, wife. So we'll just dropping my thing. We'll just leave it as that.
There we go.
But anyways, Gladys, it was nice of you to pop by.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe
it was nice to meet Chester's girlfriend.
Yeah, we're saying it's your girlfriend, but technically you never indicated that. She just interrupted right at the beginning.
Yeah, so we just figured.
Do you want to set the story? I guess because we were talking about what you did on your day off, and then Gladys was like, I'm here. So, I mean, if that was not the case, you can always tell us that was not it. Because you're kind of a solo dude. That's fine.
He's
nothing
just
wrong with that.
Life.
Yeah. That's fine.
Oh,
how do you feel that your new buddy's not here? Where's Harold? Do you miss Harold? Are you glad he's not here? Come let us know. Tell us how you feel, Chester. Let us know. Draco. I don't even know. Like from Harry Potter? Is he your nemesis? Like how Draco is Harry Potter's nemesis?
Oh my God.
Wow. I
Let's
like how
see.
you think, Chester.
Draco most commonly refers to the Draco constellations, a large blinding northern sky constellation named after the Latin word for dragon.
I like the Harry Potter reference
Me
better.
too.
That's quite funny.
But
well, Chester, any words on love before we sign off here? Because we've kind of gone all over the place.
We have been all over the place.
What do you think of Valentine's Day? What's your take on it? What is tickling me? The blanket. Okay, we're okay. Give us your honest opinion about Valentine's Day. And if it means anything to you, if you believe in Valentine's Day, if you think it's all for commercial stuff. What are your thoughts, Chesty? Let us know before we sign off. I mean, don't take too long because we do have to sign off fairly soon.
Well, if anybody has any stories, like the ghost stories, that they've had any on love, or they have their own, or if we didn't talk about one and you want to share it, we'd love to hear it. So you can post on our social media, or you can send us an email at paranormalpodcast@gmail.com. So PAREHNORMAL podcast at gmail.com. He thinks we need to find his ashes for Valentine's Day.
In an empty room. Walk. Maybe that's
calling it a night.
Yeah, maybe that's symbolic. You can find my ashes in an empty room. Poo-poo on Valentine's Day.
So poetic. So poetic. But anyways, next week is going to be us deep diving back into the world of paranormal TV and why the hell do we keep watching this shit when there's like nothing to be like, oh my gosh, to watch it.
I'm watching one right now and I'm just like, this just seems so fake. But I'm still watching it.
For the background noise for me now.
Yeah.
Sometimes I look up and watch it. But anyways, that's next week's episode. So make sure you stay tuned for that.
All it really does is make me just want to go ghost hunting. To do it.
Me too. We will. Soon.
Are you coming on the next one, Chesty? You should come ghost hunting with us once in a while. Get out, stretch your legs, and be the sacrifice.
Oh my gosh. Well, with that,
maybe not.
Have a great week, everyone. Enjoy your Valentine's Day because this episode airs before it.
Yes.
And enjoy the day after. Because it's half price candy day. And you know what's even better? Monday, it's a holiday for us here in Canada. Well, in Ontario, at least. And some of the Western provinces. Because it's family day. So we get an extra day off. And then I get an extra day off because I'm smart. But anyways.
Nice.
So, but anyways, have a great week, everyone. And Chester's on a roll. Oh my God. Before he gets
Oh dear.
All right. Have a great week. We will see you next time. Bye.